Hey guys, Jarek here, and today we're going to be looking at the HFC T77. But before we go to the HFC, let's get the mystery of where the real T77 came from out of the way. The T77 started development in Taiwan in 1985 and was completed in 1988. The design was based off the Mach 10 and Mach 11 with a little bit of innovation. The T77 fires a 9mm round using a 30-round mag very similar to the Mach 11s. Depending on how hot the T77 is, the rate of fire will vary from 1200 to 1500 rounds a minute. The T77 is effective up to 100 meters away. The gun features a 2-slot muzzle brake that the HFC replicates fairly well. But the most interesting thing about this gun is that it features a quick barrel swap, much like most LMGs do. I would imagine that if your gun was manufactured in Taiwan and fires 1500 rounds a minute, this would be very useful, if not absolutely needed. So to sum up the T77, it's a Mach 11 with a little bit of air quotation marks, innovation, but I guess if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Now that that's out of the way, let's focus on the HFC T77. The HFC comes in a fairly nice gun case. However, the foam inside of it seems to be a little bit too thin, so when you pick it up, the mag and the gun seems to move around in the case a little bit, so I'd recommend adding in a little bit thicker foam. Other than that, it's actually a very nice gun case. When you open the box, the first thing you see is a good instruction manual. It's very thick and tells you everything you need to know about the gun. It even has a detailed takedown chart on the back. Also included is a standard don't shoot your neighbor styled piece of paper. Unfortunately though, there's no funny pieces of art on this. I didn't see any seams on the BBs in the box, however, this would only last you one magazine anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. You also get a tool that helps you load the magazine. You also get a 50 round KWA styled magazine. And finally, the T77. The T77 is an incredibly sturdy gun. Most of it is made out of very durable metal. The only plastic parts are the foregrip, the back strap for the grip, and the butt of the stock. Now the butt of the stock doesn't feel like it'd break off at any time, however it is only plastic and if you hit anything hard enough it will break. But as I said, it feels sturdy enough. The stock itself is more or less a very solid metal tube that folds to the side. When you first get it, it will be very solid and very tough to unfold. You're going to have to push down very hard. I'm sure the spring will loosen up over time, but at least you don't have to worry about it unfolding while you're trying to play. The stock locks into position on both sides of the gun. The T77 uses KWA's original Mach 11 parts and magazines. It came out years before the NS2, so NS2 parts will not work in this gun. You have to use original KWA and KSC Mach 11 parts. Since it does use KWA's design, be sure to pull the bolt back before you insert the magazine, otherwise you might damage the gun. If you ever wondered why, I'll show you. If you insert the magazine while the bolt is closed, the BB or the BB follower will hit the bottom of the piston, thus possibly damaging it. Obviously this is a bad thing. However, if you have the BB follower pulled down all the way and you are dry firing, it will not damage your gun if you put a magazine in while the bolt is closed, but only if you have the BB follower pulled down all the way. The safety is a standard Mach 11 safety. Pull it back and the trigger will not work. Push it forward and you can fire. Like the safety, the selector switch is Mach 11 style. Although it doesn't click into place, it does seem to work perfectly fine. The hop-up unit is very easily accessible. Simply stick an Allen wrench key in the top of the bolt and you can adjust your hop-up unit. The sights are similar to that of an Uzi's, and I actually really like them. They make it easy to quickly assess the target and take it out. They are easily much better than the original Mach 11 sights. The rear sight can be adjusted left and right and can be adjusted for a larger or smaller aperture. Although let's just be honest, when you have a gun shooting as fast as this, who's going to use the small one? The barrel itself is painted orange, however it's not painted very well. As you can see, the paint is already starting to chip off. At this angle, you can see that this gun has Mach 11 style threads, so you can add a Mach 11 styled suppressor. When I chronoed this gun, I was very pleased with the results. Using 0.2 gram BBs and propane, it fired at 380 feet per second and 1400 rounds a minute. That's around 25 rounds per second. 2 seconds and your 50 round magazine is gone. This gun is the third fastest gun I have chronoed, the second fastest being KWA's NS2 styled Mach 11 and the fastest being Wells G55, which is a clone of Maruzen's MP5K, and that fired at 2000 rounds a minute, so it's almost not even fair to compare the two. The HFC magazine seems to keep up with the high rate of fire perfectly fine, and it seems to be very good on gas efficiency. You can get out about 3 magazines before you need to regas. However, if you're doing one long full auto mag dump, BBs are going to start falling out of the barrel by the end of the mag. This only happens with HFC magazines. If you use KWA or KSC styled magazines, they will work fine. This seems to be because HFC's magazines are slightly more narrow than KWA's, and they just don't feed as well. Even if full auto magnums are pretty badass, you're never really going to empty out all 50 rounds at one time out on the field, so I can't consider this to be too much of a con. But again, it is kinda badass, and I would really like to push that it does work perfectly fine with KWA and KSC styled magazines, so you can do your full auto magnums perfectly fine using those. When testing the accuracy of this gun, I was able to take it back to 150 feet and still consistently hit a man-sized target on semi and full auto. On full auto, the spray and pray factor didn't seem to be as bad as the original Mach 11 design. At this point, I can state that the hop-up unit is very effective. As you can see here, I had it tuned upward just a little bit too much. However, even with the hop-up unit turned upward too much, I was still able to hit a smaller target at 150 feet away. I'd say this is the cutoff limit for this gun, but for a Mach 11 design to be hitting something at 150 feet away this small is very, very good. Final conclusion of this gun. Is it worth your money? I'm going to go ahead and say yes, this is definitely worth your money. It has the range to compete with AEGs if you need to take it out in woodland, although I would say keep it in CQB as that is where it will natively be its best. However, like I just stated, if you absolutely must take this out in the woodland, you can compete with an AEG's range and have the velocity worthy of an AEG. That about sums up my review for the HFC T77. Hope you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, check out my other channels, and I'll see you guys next time. What the fuck?
I told you! Wait, I just... Oh!
That should not be possible! What in living fuck? Whoa.
Yeah, that's the Winchester.
I like that.
Punch to it.
Yeah. I took it.
Damn, that ricocheted up into the tree and took a branch out.
Deer in the head with that.
It did.
With one of those.
About 20 feet up in the tree, it took a branch out.